Good evening and welcome to Tribune Sports Live. I'm Zach Steele along with Chris Yao. Another week is in the books, Chris. Our area teams go 2-1 this week. Wins for Hewitt and Pinson. Clay kind of takes one on the chin against 7A James Clemens.
Yes, big win for Hewitt Trussville, shutout. Pinson with a hard-fought victory over at Shades Valley, and Clay did lose to James Clemens, but again, James Clemens a very good team, and it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about these.
Well, we'll talk about all those games when we come back. We'll be back in just a moment.
Trussville Vision Care is now proud to offer sports vision training for athletes. This sports-specific training improves hand-eye coordination and reaction time. As a former college athlete, Dr. Steele knows how important perfect vision is to succeed on the athletic field. For athletes, 20/20 vision is not enough. Trussville Vision Care.
Welcome back. The Hewitt Huskies had no trouble this week with their homecoming win against Centerpoint, a 55-0 win, Chris. First shutout in 3 years for the Huskies.
It was the first time they've pitched a shutout defensively since a win over Woodlawn in 2013. So a big night for the defense. A fantastic job by everyone involved. Play calling was great. The execution defensively, man, was just outstanding.
And the defense, as we said, pitched the shutout. You saw Rudy Griffin get the Gatorade bath at the end of the game for getting that shutout. The Huskies' offense clicking on all cylinders right now. Noah Igbenogany was the star in this one. Listen to this stat, 163 yards on 3 carries. That's a pretty good average.
It was incredible to watch. I actually tweeted during the game that I had no words to describe the dominance because his first run was 50 yards, and as soon as he broke the line, you could tell nobody was going to catch him. I mean, he's one of the fastest guys in the state of Alabama. So, and then he did get caught from behind on his second run, but it was because he was trying to slow down to juke a defender coming at him at the angle. And then his third touchdown was a bomb, beautifully thrown by Connor Adair. He dives, makes the catch in the end zone. He had 5 touches in the whole game, and he only played one half. And 3 touchdowns on those 5 touches. That's incredible.
Well, this one, as we said, we knew this was going to be a mismatch going in. The Huskies empty their bench. Everyone's in by halftime. The Huskies are 6-0 now. First time in quite a while they've been 6-0.
It is. You know, what's incredible is how this team has continued to have success each and every week. They've not laid down. They've not, they didn't start off great offensively. Connor Adair started 3 for 8, but he finished the half 6 of 6. So, it's just, continuing to do the things that they have to do to make their team continue to get better each and every week, and they keep doing that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Simon Miskelly, who led the team in tackles, had a couple tackles for loss, and that guy has just been a playmaker all season, and definitely want to give him credit for that.
The Huskies host Bob Jones in a key area match this coming Friday night, probably going to decide the region title. When we come back, we're going to talk about Clay Chalkville and their loss to James Clemens. We'll be back in just a moment.
Jefferson Memorial Funeral Home and Gardens is home-owned and operated by the Seal family. I've known Eddie Seal and his son Adam for over 25 years. They're community-oriented and, more importantly, good folks who know how to take care of people in their time of need. That's how Jefferson Memorial became Trussville's funeral home and cemetery. Jefferson Memorial is located at 1591 Gadsden Highway. You can call them at 322-0543. Before your need arises, let Jefferson Memorial family take care of your family.
Welcome back. Clay Chalkville hosted 7A James Clemens last Friday night, Chris, and it did not go well for the Cougars from the get-go.
Literally from the get-go. They kicked the ball out of bounds, and James Clemens says, no, we're going to make you kick it again, and when they do, it's 6 points. Kyrique McDonald, the highly touted recruit, showed that he was worth every eye that was on him there, including a couple of recruiters, one from Alabama and one from another SEC school. So, boy, Kyrique McDonald really showed that he was worth every single bit of accolades he's been given. Had a pick 6 in the game as well. Just not a good night for Clay Chalkville in any sense of the word.
Well, you mentioned the pick six. Lots of turnovers in this game for Clay Chalkful, and you cannot turn the ball over against a good team like James Clemens and expect to be in the ball game.
Absolutely not. And turnovers are what wins ball games for defenses. And, you know, it's just something that Clay's going to have to keep working through and keep fighting to get better. Willie Miller, just a sophomore, these things are going to happen. Even Jerry Hood said after the game that he knew at some point he was going to have some growing pains at the quarterback position. Maybe we got a little bit excited, you know, after that first week when he devoured Florence. So, you know, those type of things are going to happen, and Clay's going to get back on their feet because they're very well coached, and that's just how Jerry Hood works.
Well, they need to get back on their feet quickly because they have a huge game looming coming up with Gardendale. When we come back, we're going to talk about Pinson Valley, who escapes with a win at Shades Valley.
Trussell Vision Care is now proud to offer sports vision training for athletes. This sports-specific training improves hand-eye coordination and reaction time. As a former college athlete, Dr. Steele knows how important perfect vision is to succeed on the athletic field. For athletes, 20/20 vision is not enough. Trussell Vision Care.
Welcome back. Pinson Valley traveled over to Shades Valley in Irondale last Friday night, and they escape with their lives barely, Chris.
Escape is a perfect term because at the end of the game, Pinson Valley has to punt the ball away. Shades Valley gets a stop. Pinson punter just whiffs on the kick, just completely misses the ball, gives Shades Valley a chance to go in and score, and then Shades Valley gives it right back. They fumble the kick, they fumble the snap, fall on it, time runs out. Very interesting ending to that ball game, but Pinson Valley escaped. But they played a good ball game. That's one thing is, you know, Pinson Valley did not go into the game with big expectations. They went in and did what they had to do to win.
We've talked about this on and off this season. They're a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of a team.
They
you never
are.
know who's going to show up from week to week.
You never know which team's going to show up. Defensively, you know, this was a game that I thought their defense would shine. But instead, you know, they give up 25 points, which is, you know, that's not unusual. It does happen. But, you know.
They also gave up 200 yards rushing to one guy.
Which never happens. I mean, that's something that, you know, that these kind of things are going to happen week in and week out with Pinson, that they're a little inconsistent. But Glover's going to keep pushing them and keep pushing them, and I feel like this team's still going to be a playoff team at the end of the year.
They get Center Point this week, so a game, again, they should win, but you never know. So when we come back, we're going to have our Players of the Week and predictions for this week's ball games.
Jefferson Memorial Funeral Home and Gardens is home-owned and operated by the Seal family. I've known Eddie Seal and his son Adam for over 25 years. They're community-oriented and, more importantly, good folks who know how to take care of people in their time of need. That's how Jefferson Memorial became Trussell's Funeral Home and Cemetery. Jefferson Memorial is located at 1591 Gadsden Highway. You can call them at 322-0543. Before your need arises, let Jefferson Memorial family take care of your family.
Welcome back. It's time for our Players of the Week, Chris. And first of all, for Hewitt, it's kind of a no-brainer. They emptied their bench, but the guy who stood out, we've already mentioned, Noah Igbenogany, with his amazing night.
Yeah, it was a great night. Dominant is the best word to describe it. And again, we'll give you his stats. He had 3 rushes, 163 yards, 2 catches for 44 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. An incredible night overall.
And for Clay Chalkful, we're going to give it to Drennan Mayhew, the kicker for Clay Chalkful. 2 field goals made in this one. Not a lot to hang your hat on the offensive side for Clay, but Drennan had a nice night.
He did. He you know, nailed 2 field goals, had a good night. The Clay defense actually played really well. They only gave up 14 points. They played well enough to win. The special teams and the defensive touchdown made it a little bit bigger than what you would think. And obviously that one Kyrick McDonald run. So their defense played well, but you got to give it to a guy who has done. He's actually played well all year long. Mayhew has done really well. So we give him a little bit of love this week.
Absolutely. It's a good week for that with kickers since Daniel Carlson had such a nice night for Auburn, right?
That's it.
Pinson, Jackie Matthews, a very productive night, 15 for 19, 172 yards and a touchdown. He continues to improve.
He has improved all season long. You're exactly right. And I think at one time both quarterbacks had combined for like 14 of 14 passing in that game. It was really crazy to see. But Jackie played well. He continues to, like you say, improve. And, if he keeps improving throughout the year, this team can make a run in the playoffs.
Absolutely. All right, prediction time. Let's start with Hewitt and Bob Jones. This is a huge game. This probably decides the region championship in that region. Bob Jones, a team that's perennially very good. Hewitt, all of a sudden an up-and-comer, maybe one of the best teams in the state in 7A. Your thoughts on this one?
You're right. Bob Jones, this one right here, both teams are undefeated in the region. Whoever wins this game will be the lone team atop the region. So they're in the driver's seat from here on out with a win. So this game right here, Bob Jones has struggled at times this year. And Hewitt-Trussville has been on this roll. I don't think the roll stops. I think Hewitt's going to win this one 31-21.
I'm with you on this one. I think it's going to be a little bit more low-scoring than Husky fans may have been accustomed to so far this year. But I like Hewitt in this one, 35-21. All right, Center Point at Pinson, a game that Pinson should win.
Absolutely. It's almost like we cover Center Point now. We've talked about them 3 weeks in a row. So I think that Pinson defense is going to be a little bit jacked up this week because of giving up 25 points. I feel like Glover's going to have his team ready to play. And I didn't mention this, but Center Point only completed 3 passes against Hewitt-Trussville this week, and I feel like that defensive line at Pinson's going to really get after them, and I think they're going to win 28-0.
I like Pinson in this one too. I watched Center Point against Hewitt, and they really don't have a lot offensively. They really are, unfortunately for them, pretty hapless on the offensive side of the ball. They do have a couple of good athletes. One may escape and make a play. I like Pinson in this one, 35-6. So, the big one this week, Clay at Gardendale. And this one's got some pretty big playoff implications as well.
Oh, absolutely. Gardendale has lost a region game already. Clay has lost a region game to Pinson Valley. So right now, Minor's in the driver's seat, but the winner of this one could end up hosting. This could be for the number 2 spot in the region. And unfortunately, I just don't think Clay can get it done this week. I think Gardendale is just much too strong offensively, and Clay is still trying to answer some questions on their offensive side. I think Gardendale wins 35-14.
That's a really good pick. Not so fast, my friend. I like Clay in this one. Here. I like Clay in this one simply because they're Clay Chalkville. They've been good for the last couple of years. They've been one of the top teams in the state in any classification. I don't think that goes away overnight after a loss to James Clemens or a loss to Pinson earlier. I think that those are the things that happen. I think they get it together. I like Clay in this one, 42-38. Well, that's our show. We'll be back to see how we did on our predictions, and we'll talk about all these games and preview the following week's games. For Chris Yao, I'm Zach Steele. Good night, everybody.